OpenAI first unveiled Sora on February 15, 2024. The demo showed AI-generated video that looked closer to real footage than anything the public had seen before. A woman walking through a neon-lit Tokyo street, woolly mammoths trudging through snow. The clips were short, under a minute, but the fidelity was shocking. Competitors like Runway and Pika had been producing AI video for months, but Sora's output looked a generation ahead. OpenAI didn't release Sora to the public right away. For most of 2024, access was limited to a small group of safety testers and select artists. That controlled rollout built enormous anticipation. By the time OpenAI launched Sora as a consumer product in December 2024, demand was intense. The app let users type a prompt and receive a generated video clip within minutes. A later update added the ability for users to upload their own face and voice, which the model could then map onto generated characters. That feature, in particular, drew massive initial interest. Almost immediately, Sora became a factory for content that OpenAI had not intended. Within weeks of launch, researchers at UC Berkeley published findings showing Sora's output was hyper-realistic enough to fool most viewers. That capability attracted bad actors fast. NBC News reported swarms of fabricated war zone footage, fake clips of Ukrainian soldiers, staged atrocities, spreading across social media platforms. Fact-checkers and law enforcement agencies were flooded with requests to verify Sora-generated videos. The face and voice cloning feature made things worse. Non-consensual intimate imagery spiked. The BBC reported a rise in AI-generated child sexual abuse material traced back to Sora's tools. Fraud schemes used generated video of real people to impersonate executives and public figures. OpenAI deployed content filters and watermarking, but the volume of misuse outpaced moderation. Hank Farid, a digital forensics expert at Berkeley, described his inbox as overwhelmed with verification requests from reporters, law enforcement, and ordinary citizens. Just one day before OpenAI announced the shutdown, the company had pushed out an updated safety policy for Sora, a last-ditch attempt to control what users were generating. It wasn't enough. Sora's content problems might have been survivable if the economics worked. They didn't. Generating video is orders of magnitude more compute-intensive than generating text or images. Forbes reported that Sora's video generation alone was costing OpenAI roughly $15 million per day. There was no subscription tier or pricing model that could offset that burn rate. User engagement compounded the problem. People tried Sora out of curiosity, generated a few clips, and moved on. The same pattern had already played out with Midjourney and Stability AI in the image generation space. Rapid initial adoption followed by steep drop-offs. Sora users struggled to find practical, repeatable use cases. Professional filmmakers and advertisers found the output impressive but unreliable. You could get a stunning shot on one attempt and an incoherent mess on the next. For production work, that inconsistency was a deal breaker. OpenAI was also preparing for a potential IPO and needed to present a picture of financial discipline to investors. A product hemorrhaging $15 million a day with declining engagement and a growing PR crisis was the opposite of that picture. Sam Levy, an analyst who spoke with CBC News, noted that consumer products like Sora were simply very difficult for a company like OpenAI to monetize. In late 2025, OpenAI signed a multi-year deal with Disney to bring Disney characters into Sora, letting users generate video featuring licensed intellectual property. It was a marquee partnership, the kind meant to signal legitimacy and commercial potential. 3 months later, OpenAI killed Sora entirely. On March 24, 2026, OpenAI announced it was shuttering the app and redirecting its computing resources toward ChatGPT improvements and coding tools. Products with clearer paths to revenue. The decision came just 6 months after the consumer launch. OpenAI had once called Sora the beginning of a completely new era for creators. Now, the era was over. Sora's shutdown didn't kill AI video generation. Competitors like Runway, Pika, and Google's Veo continued developing their own models, generally with tighter content controls and lower-cost architectures. The market shifted towards smaller, more targeted tools rather than the all-purpose generators Sora had tried to be. For OpenAI, the retreat was strategic. The company concentrated its resources on products that enterprise customers would pay for: code generation, chat assistance, API access. These were less spectacular than cinematic AI video, but far easier to monetize. Sora lasted 6 months as a product, cost hundreds of millions of dollars to run, enabled a wave of disinformation and abuse, and was abandoned 3 months after its biggest partnership deal. As of mid-2026, OpenAI has not announced plans to revive it. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe for similar ones. Subscribe for more stories about the people, companies, and ideas that shaped modern technology.